Hi everyone, how are you doing? Welcome to Facts and Two Cents. Happy Thursday. Hope you're doing well wherever you are. Again, welcome. As you know, we are a channel that supports the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Harry, Meghan, Archie, Baby Lily, Mama Doria, Poola Guy, the chickens, all of us here at Sussex Squad. Welcome. Hope you are well. I'm going to say hi to all my friends in the chat. If you are new here, you see the little scrolly thing at the bottom, please go ahead and subscribe and click the notification bell so you know when we drop a video. And also like and share the video as we're trying to build a bigger platform, I guess. Yeah, that's exactly what we're trying to do. And if you're able, join the channel as well. So there you go. As I jump in the chat and say hello to all my awesome friends who are in the chat. Hello. Let's see who is here. Oh, our awesome moderator Lydia is here. Hey, Lydia is here today. Cool, awesome. We missed you yesterday, Lydia. So welcome back. Fancy is here. Marvel is here. Hello, Marvel. How are you? Kathy Gabi is here. Oh, she's like, the only breaking news I want to hear is that they got back their money. Here, Kathy. Here. Let's see who else is here. Connie Balmer is here. Hello, Connie Balmer. And Verda and Lottie. It's like, happy Thursday, everyone. She's invoking karma and everything. Who else is here? Oh, Ernie Cool. Well, hello, Ernie Cool. How are you? Welcome. And let's see. Amaka is here. Hello, Amaka. And who else is here? Everybody's just going back and forth with a bunch of chats. Joyce is here as well. Hello, Joyce. Joyce Vos is here. Hello, Joyce. Cinderella is here. Hello, Cinderella. And Marjorie and Tara. Oh, Robert is here. Hello, Robert. Hanging out with us from Rome. He has joining from Rome at 1800 and the wine bar is open, sending over double Martinelli cranberry spritz. Ooh, Robert, you knew what I needed. You knew I needed a double of my Martinelli cranberry spritz, so thank you. I'll be enjoying that. But anyways, guys, and I'll just say hello to all my other friends in the chat as we go along. What is going on in the world of Sussexes / royals / all the other mess and dramas that's going around the royal, the royal sphere of things? Well, our faves, they are, under a tree somewhere in this photo, literally under a tree, somewhere, I guess, in Africa, somewhere in the continent of Africa. I think this picture was taken. And, I wanted to do this cool, creation thing, but it cut off some of the skirt and I don't know, pants or skirt, whatever it is they're wearing. It's just a cool shot. It is such a cool shot. And so, they're hopefully under a tree, hanging out, having maybe some Martinellis sent over by Robert and doing whatever they're doing in Montecito. Obviously they were out on Tuesday and, going to a restaurant. And again, one of those places where, people in the industry, the film and television industry, spend time and hang out and do business deals and all that stuff that they do there. So they were there Tuesday night, but we haven't seen them obviously since, and we hadn't seen them, especially Meghan, since December 6th. So at the Ripple of Hope Award, we saw Harry in a couple of interviews, and also on Stephen Colbert, which we absolutely enjoyed. I hope you guys had a chance to watch the questionnaire from Colbert. It is in our community page. I posted it there. So hopefully you were able to take a look at it and hopefully you enjoyed it. So anyways, so they're doing whatever they're doing. And so I guess it's International Book Day, I guess, or something. But it's just everyone is posting pictures. And it's funny because I was looking it up. I was like, it is? Because I looked it up and it says April 23rd or something. And I'm like, I'm lost as to who is celebrating the Worldwide Book Day or something. And I'm like, okay, well, if we're celebrating it now, here are 2 bestsellers. Whatever the date is and whomever is celebrating. If we were a squatty, our two bestsellers, number one bestsellers right here. I mean, I mean, it's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. Like, in one family, you could have two New York Times and every other list bestsellers in one family, and it's amazing. So and then thank you, Josephine, Henry, Rachel, Archie, Lily. That's their Twitter handle, because it's just, again, she's not a squatty, but she definitely supports the Sussexes, and she posts for all the royals. She posts stuff about all the royals. This was an alert from her page, and I was like, oh, I would have never even known this existed had it not been for her posting it. And I was like, oh wow, so thank you, Josephine, for this for posting this, because I just thought this is just the cutest thing ever. And these little kids, they're all baby Harrys. And it is just all little gingers being baby Harrys. And I just thought it's just the cutest thing in the world. And I'm like, so World Book Day, we have our little spares going around, and I absolutely love it. Kim Salter said at the bottom of hers, he says he didn't get to make it to preschool today, but doesn't mean he couldn't dress up for the occasion still. So it was World Book Day. And so all our little ginger-haired Harrys painted on their little beards and holding up spare. I just thought it was just the coolest thing ever. I mean, look at the one on the left. I mean, I'll talk about, he nailed down Harry's seriousness, and he stared. I absolutely love it. I'm like, oh, baby Harry's. And little one in the middle, he actually had another picture where he's pointing on the back of Harry's of spares, a picture of Harry as a little boy, and so he is pointing at the picture of Harry, and I just like, oh, and he's there with his little military garb and everything. It's just like, oh. I absolutely love it. I love how they got into it. It's like an early Halloween, So kudos to our little Harrys. So I just think I don't know, it's just the cutest things. And I love it. I love how kids they just get all up in it. They just love this kind of thing. So I'm like, yeah. And obviously for the 7th straight week, I mean, we've been doing this since week 1. So this is week 7. We're gone up to March 12th. This is like, next week or 2 weeks from, a week and a half, something from now, 10 days from now, whatever it is. This is the March 12th edition of the New York Times bestseller. And of course, across all platforms, Spare is number 1. I mean, oh, I forgot to put in the one from Germany. Germany, it's also number 1. It's just number 1 all over. Just assume Spare is number 1. Wherever you're thinking of, Spare is number 1. And, again, we don't know like all the details for the countries, because it's translated into 16 languages. So we don't have all the details for the others. But I mean, it is just amazing. But in the US, obviously, across all platforms, Spare, for the 7th straight week. And it is just, absolutely wonderful to see. Spare is not going anywhere. And I actually read about this yesterday. We read this yesterday, but I'm just so happy when Archwell decides to update their website. When they decide to remember that they have a website they need to update. So I was like, cool, thank you for updating your site. So I think what they do is they send out a press release to the different outlets, and then they allow the NAACP to post it, and then they posted it. And so it's just wonderful. And if you don't know, Nabiha Sayed, she is with a CEO for a company called Markup, and she just won last Friday, I think, the NAACP Image Award. So as part of that, Harry and Meghan, who teamed up with the NAACP to create this Digital Civil Rights Award. Last year, Dr. Safia Noble, who wrote the book Algorithms of Repression. She won it. That was the first one, and then this is the second one, and it's $100,000 prize. So I was like, ooh, yeah, I'm in the wrong, I'm in the wrong business. I need $100,000, but she is doing great work, actually. A little bit about what the Sussexes say about her. It says this year's recipient, Nabiha Syed, is the CEO of the Markup Company, driving award-winning investigative coverage of how powerful institutions use technology to reshape society. The Markup data-driven report has analyzed the hidden racial bias in mortgage approval algorithms and student risk algorithms, revealed how telecom companies offer lower income and more diverse neighborhoods slower internet speeds for the same price as the other neighborhoods. So we're paying the same price as the richer neighborhoods who are getting faster speeds. It is gross. And it goes on to say, and how Meta, i.e. Facebook, collects financial information through tax filing websites and health information from hospital systems. So there's a whole lot that they're doing, that they are really exposing a lot of things that you normally wouldn't know. And they hire a team of reporters who, they fact check to the nines and release these reports to alert people about these biases. We know about redlining and all of that stuff. And also, I didn't know that telecom companies were lowering the internet speeds in lower in or diverse communities, and then having the regular speed at the richer communities, but we're all paying the same thing. And it's just, that's gross, so it is just wonderful that she is doing this work. Again, the award is the the Digital Civil Rights Award, and definitely using their platform to uncover and really seeing these inequalities in how companies use technology. And so it's just, she's doing great work. She's doing absolutely great work. And so congratulations to her again, and thank you, Archwell, once again for updating for remembering you have a website and updating it. Thank you. I much appreciate that. I rather use your from your website than finding it from other people. So there you go. Thank you, Archwell. What else is happening? Yes. Talk about betrayals and all of this stuff, which I titled this episode. Yesterday we talked about how King Charles has his whole life been very disrespectful to the wishes of the Queen. And, the press especially tried to hold Harry to, they disrespected the Queen, they did this, they did that against the Queen. And nobody says a word about all the times when the Queen literally says what she wants. She put it in writing. She let it be known that this is what she wants. And every single time, King Charles completely disregards what she says and go do what he wants to do. And so we were talking at length about that yesterday. And so it's very interesting to see this was the topic of conversation that James O'Brien on LBC, which he's one of the good ones. He is up. Yes, Lydia, he is absolutely amazing. So if you're on social media or if you have access to LBC, definitely listen to him. He definitely takes the press to task for what they do and how they do it, and definitely been very much an advocate for the Sussexes, and calling out how they've been treated by the royal family and the British press. And so today, again, we were talking about this yesterday about King Charles completely disrespecting the late Queen, and nobody says a word. And so today he had his thing was imagining what it would be like if the British, as you can see at the bottom right, it says, James O'Brien imagines what the right-wing headlines would look like today if they wanted the public to hate King Charles rather than Harry and Meghan. And these are his imagined headlines that the Daily Mail, if they were, a legit press, would not only, that they're trying to get the public to hate King Charles, if they were actually simply reporting the truth. This would be the headlines. because this is literally what they're doing. The first one at the top left is like, Charles betrays late mother's wishes, which again, we talked about that. We, betrayed him in terms of, she wanted Camilla to be queen consort. And then all of a sudden, Charles is like, oh, no. Consort is too, cumbersome. We're going with queen, which is what he had wanted the whole time. The queen allowed Harry and Meghan that to use the house in Frogmore, to use their money to renovate it and all of that stuff and refurbish and all the things that they did. And now we're knowing that King Charles, oh, no, I want to do what I want. I'm going to kick you out so I can put my, alleged pedophile brother into your place. And never mind that you paid for the your 2.4 million pounds back for the refurbishments. Never mind that you are paying rent on this space. Never mind all that. Because I wanted, and apparently it's coming out that, he has now dumped it into William's lap, that, it's because William and Kate want the lodge, which we've heard of. We heard about that since last year. The reason why they want to kick Andrew out of the lodge is because that's what William and Kate wants. And so I guess they probably feel, well, let's move closer to Windsor so that we can keep kicking Andrew out. Not that I think Andrew deserves to be in a 30-room lodge to begin with, but that's neither here or there. He has a long-term lease on the place. And so they're trying to kick him out. So they kicked out the Sussexes so they can put Andrew in the Sussexes space. And so again, the Queen specifically gave that to Harry and Meghan. He gave it to them to use it. They put in their own money. And now that Charles is again completely betrays his late mother's wish and now has, basically evicted Harry and Meghan, or evicting them. And so again, he is like, well, this is what the Daily Mail headline would look like if they want the public to hate. And the middle one, it says, Charles betrays his late mother's wishes by depriving Harry of a home. And then the top right one says, cruel Charles betrays late Queen's wishes by stealing, which is dead, Harry's home. Harry and Meghan denied a place in England's green and pleasant land by jealous parent. I actually love that. That is my favorite one. But he is just imagining if they're, because how the British tabloids are, they will come up with some of the most ridiculous, but some of the harshest thing. And he's like, yeah, it is cruel what Charles done. He's betrayed his mother's wishes. He has denied Harry and Meghan their home. He is jealous in every sense of the word. And people are like, oh, no, he wants them to come. He loves Harry and Meghan. He wants them to come to the coronation. King Charles does not want Harry and Meghan anywhere near that coronation. I don't care what people are saying. That, he's, they're much loved. If you want them to come to this coronation, you wouldn't be doing the things you're doing. Charles wants that day for himself. He does not want anybody coming to, to taking the spotlight from him. It is his day. He has dreamt about this day for his entire life. He doesn't want the Sussexes there. And that's why that's why they released this, along with the fact that, he wanted to get the press off his back for meddling in Brexit mess. He doesn't want them there. But again, going back to, the crux of this is James O'Brien is like, look, if the right-wing press really wanted to hate Charles and wanted the public to hate Charles, these are the kind of headlines he would be getting. And frankly, again, this would be the truth. Because he is selfish, he's stealing their property. Again, they've paid for this, they pay rent, all of that stuff. He is jealous, and he is definitely depriving them of a home by, and taking away the only place that they have security, really, because the Met Police is there and they also have their police. It's a complete secure place. So Charles is completely stripped them of all of that. And, it's funny because that we were talking about this yesterday, and then James O'Brien started talking about this today. Again, we see, this is not the first time Charles has completely disregarded the late Queen's wishes. I mean, we saw him do it with Prince Edward's, the Duke of Edinburgh title. The Queen he said it, her, Prince Philip, and even Charles, they agreed that Edward was going to have the Duke of Edinburgh title. And what does Charles turn around and do? Well, I don't know. I'm reassessing. He's not going to get it. And so whether he changes his mind and whether he changed his mind, changes his mind for the coronation and he gives it, who knows? But he's been king since September, and Edward still is not the Duke of Edinburgh, And so talk about Edward, he is on this Caribbean tour that nobody cares about once again. And I was just like, every time, I would see a picture and I was like, this guy, him and Sophie are on a tour. Nobody knows. I think I'm probably the only one who's going to be advertising their tour because nobody cares. And again, taxpayers are paying for this, But yeah, it's again, the Queen said, Prince Philip said, their son Edward is supposed to have that title. What does Charles do? No, I'm keep holding on to that title and I'm not giving it to Edward. And so this is part of the chorus. Again, the Queen said, Queen consort. And Charles is like, nah, I'm just going to disregard what you say. And she's going to be called Queen, which is what I wanted to call her in the first place. Even the time when I was, filing charges against the press because, they were saying I wanted to marry Camilla, which you did, so it just... Therese 1001, thank you so much for your super sticker. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate. Thank y'all for your support. What else is happening? But again, it's good to see that people are talking about this. And also, like I've seen, different clips of different news outlets. They're not pretending that this is anything other than vindictiveness from Charles. They're calling that's what it is. It's vindictiveness. It's revenge. And I don't know that that's the narrative that the royal family were looking for. This is supposed to be your king. This is supposed to be your unifying person. That's why he's supposed to be there. That's why you don't want him in politics. Even though they've always been in politics, that's why you want to fool people into thinking they're not into politics, because they're supposed to be this unifying person. You don't want the world thinking this is a vengeful, petty, malicious, weak, despicable creature. You don't want to think people thinking that, but that's exactly what he's doing. He's showing the world that, and basically proving everything Harry said about him in Spare. And the Harry and Meghan doc, they're just proving everything they say by what they do. And so by releasing that stuff, and like I said, it was clear that it was briefed. It was clear that they, briefed it to Scobie and the other, and the son and whomever else that talked. It was clear that they did. And of course, Harry and Meghan, responded to it. But it's just like, I don't know that that's the narrative that they want, but it's very interesting that their friends in the British media, they're not going to, at least I saw one of them trying to explain away, it's a lot for the country and all this nonsense. But the majority of that I've seen that people have posted screenshots of stuff, the majority I've seen are just calling it what it is. One of them flat out said that they were basically deceived because they have been briefed by the palace that, Harry and Meghan were much loved and all of that stuff. And now they're like, well, this doesn't look like love. And so they're actually having to come to terms with the fact that they were lied to, and that at least they're saying it's revenge. It is vindictiveness. It is pettiness that, and Peter Hunt said, King Charles has not been, he's not appeared lower than this. I mean, I'm like, at this point, he needs to improve to get to low. Low that's a high for him. He needs to literally improve to get to low, so it's interesting to see that their friends in the press aren't all excited about this, because what this says is that most likely, if they're pulling this nonsense, Harry and Meghan aren't going to be there for the coronation. And a lot of this press, they are depending on having pictures of Harry and Meghan to eat in order to eat. And so they are not thrilled about this. So we'll see what they'll be doing in the coming days. Interesting. But again, every time they want to, Charles want to get out of mess, as with his wading into Brexit, of course they throw Harry and Meghan under the bus, feed them to the press, and there we are. And also we have lying royal reporters. It's very funny. I wasn't even gonna pull this in, but it was just an example of how brazen they are and how brazen they are at just lying, even when there is documented evidence by the royal family from the Sovereign Grant report. They are still lying. And it's so wild because even after lying, and even after being called out and acknowledging that, what she wrote was a lie, I went back there today. I was like, let me see if this girl took this thing down. And lo and behold, she didn't. And this is a lesson to us in the sense of why royal reporters post lies on social media. They post it because they know when they post the lie, a lot of people like us in the squad will go under their post and argue with them and post receipts and all of that stuff. And that's all they want. They don't care. They don't care that's a lie. All they want is for us to come and engage with them because that raises their profile. And that's exactly what happened. You look at it and you see all these responses and people posting receipts and receipts and receipts. And she still hasn't taken it down. Even people calling her out. It's like, it's a lie. Take that down. As of right now, that is still there. She knows it's a lie. And she posted it there, not because she wants to be corrected, not because she's posting the truth, but because she wants engagement. And apparently she, whenever, was it 2021, 2022, when Harry and Meghan paid back the 2.4 million for Frogmore, they paid to the Sovereign Grant. Emily Andrews wrote an article. That was before she was fired by the Daily Mail. So she wrote this article about finally they're paying us back for Frogmore. And like nobody else in the royal family has ever paid back money, but they're finally paying us back. Even though she, again, on a tangent here, working for a newspaper, the Daily Mail, that does not pay taxes in the UK. They don't pay taxes. They make millions of dollars and do not pay taxes. But Emily Andrews is going to be writing, and her other elks were writing about finally the Sussex is paying us back. This is what she wrote yesterday. She's like, I wrote a story that Harry and Meghan had begun to pay back the 2.4 million renovation cost through monthly rent 3 years ago. BP confirmed the figures, but my calculations, Harry and Meghan have not repaid the 2.4 they said they would. So far, it's been £630,000. And it's just like, are you serious? So, of course, squaddies have been pulling receipts and like, that's a lie. All you have to do is go under the royal family website. It's literally there. The Sovereign Grant report is literally there. This is from the Sovereign Grant report at the top. Frogmore Cottage was the official residence of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex until March 31st, 2020, when they stepped back from performing official duties. On April 1st, 2020, Frogmore became the private UK residence of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, subject to an annual license to occupy, in addition to commercial rent paid for the first 5 months of 2020-2021. A lump sum of 2.4 million was received from the Duke and Duchess of Sussex in September 2020 to reimburse the Sovereign Grant for expenditure occurred on the refurbishment of Frogmore. This is literally, they have this all in the Sovereign Grant. There are articles written where there's like, yes, we collected this money, they paid this money. The royal family were even celebrating because they went over budget, and because they got this $2.4 million from Harry and Meghan, it helped them to not be over budget because that they were able to use this as income. It was just like, and to see Emily Andrews, well, really, Limely Andrews, and that's the reason why she was called Limely Andrews, deciding, that, oh, no. I know Buckingham Palace said this, but by my calculations, it's not repaid. They only paid back $630,000 based on the fact on their rent payments, which is like, in addition to rent payments, they already paid back the $2 million. It's just like, it's amazing. So when she got all of this, receipts, at the bottom, she's like, yes, thank you. Well, then perhaps they are owed some money back. And then she goes on to talk about, and maybe Andrew would be repaid because he plunked down a whole bunch of money with repairs and stuff for the Royal Lodge. So finally she's like, oh yeah, well, thank you, but you would think she knows she's lying. She knows it's a lie. She's been called out. She has receipts. And again, you would think she would take this down. Nope. Right until right now, that is still there. And again, that is a lesson for us in the sense of, yes, we call out the lies, but when we go under their tweet and give them engagement, that's what they want. You can't tell me that Emily Andrews did not know that she can go to the sovereign grant that is literally on the royal family website, pull up the 2021-2022 sovereign grant report and see this. You can't tell me she couldn't do that. She just chose to lie because she knows she will get engagement. And so it is incredible to me. And apparently, and I didn't see it, but I've heard that Russell Myers, again, we've talked about Russell Myers and how he lies. But apparently he did the same thing on television, saying that the Sussexes did not pay back the sovereign grant. And, for what it's worth, for the other reports that I've seen, whether, the video clips that I've seen on Twitter, etc., the 99.9% of the reporters, tabloid or not, have been acknowledging that, yes, the Sussexes did pay it back and they're owed money. If they paid back, they should be refunded their money if they're going to take the property away. And so, I'm sure Harry and Meghan's lawyers are a part of that, to make sure they get their money back. And if not, if I were Harry and Meghan and they're haggling me, I will sue. And I will expose the Crown Estate. I will totally expose them for what they are. The idea that they have to, evict it so Andrew can move in. There are tons of empty property. King Charles inherited all this property from the Queen, along with all he had. Literally, King James Palace. Catherine Zeta-Jones and her husband, whatever the actor guy, Michael somebody, is the actor. They actually just moved into St. James Palace. St. James Palace is a huge that if they wanted Andrew to, have a section of the palace, I'm sure he could have had that. They have homes that are sitting empty that they could have given Andrew. I'm sure there are other grace and favor homes at Windsor Great Park that Andrew could have had, but oh no. We have to pretend like, oh no, we cannot have a property sitting open, so that way we have to take it away from them and make sure I'm like, look how long was Adelaide Cottage sitting open so Kate and William could just move in? How long? Who lives at Windsor Castle other than the staff? The Queen isn't there anymore. Who lives there? You have a whole castle, Windsor Castle, that has all these different apartments. That is a 1,000-room castle. That if you want Andrew out of, the lodge because Kate and William are once again greedy, they have 4 properties and 5 homes, by the way, again. So if you wanted that, you could have moved Andrew into Windsor. There are apartments there he could have moved in. Why not give him the Queen's apartment? Nobody's living in the Queen's apartments. And he's the Queen's fave. Why not move him into there? But no. We have to be vindictive and nasty, and we need to show the world that we are boss. So we have to kick them out so we can embarrass them in front of the world. Except what ended up happening is the world is just watching you prove everything and Harry and Meghan say about you is right. And there's this ridiculous narrative that's going on, and which I have to blame Omid for. I love Omid, but this was a ridiculous narrative about, the Sussexes are shocked and they're stunned and, cruel King Charles and all of that stuff. It's like this, that they have all these drawers that are full, that is this whole thing, and so you have tabloids now picking that nonsense about how the Sussexes are basically crying and they're devastated that King Charles has taken away their home. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan puts out this, this is what they said. This is their whole of what Harry and Meghan said. The spokesman for the couple's Archwell Foundation tells people, we can confirm the Duke and Duchess of Sussex have been requested to vacate their residence at Frogmore. That's it. That's all that Harry and Meghan says. That's it. We've confirmed the Duke and Duchess of Sussex have been requested to vacate their residence at Frogmore. We don't know if they accepted the request. We don't know if they're fighting the request. We don't know anything. We know nothing. We definitely don't know how Harry and Meghan are feeling because that is not there. But the idea with royal reporters, especially putting their feelings onto people and projecting their emotions onto Harry and Meghan is really ridiculous. And I love Omi to death, but this is ridiculous. And I had to call it out. I'm like, look, this is the year of our Lord 2023. Okay, we have Spare, we have the Harry and Meghan docuseries. This is not a time where people are, where we're going to be accepting from some unnamed source, some unnamed friend of the Sussexes or unnamed person close to the Sussexes or unnamed palace source and all of this nonsense. For me, whenever I see that, I just assume you're lying. If you cannot put your name there and put your face there and your name and back up what you say, then you're lying. You're lying. So it's just, this whole thing is nonsense. Again, they have been requested to vacate. Again, we don't know Harry and Meghan's response to this. We don't know if they're fighting. We have no idea. But the narrative, they're kicked out. That is not what this says. It says they have been requested to vacate. There was a request made. They want Andrew to move. We don't know. Apparently, Andrew is fighting it. I guess, if you're living a 30-room home and you move into one with only 5 beds, that would be an issue for you, maybe. I don't know. But again, these royal reporters always projecting their feelings and all of this. Again, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex have said, no one speaks for us. We speak for ourselves, just us and the people, our spokesperson that is authorized by us to speak. No friend of the Sussexes, no close people close to the Sussexes, no former bodyguard or whomever or security people. The Sussexes just simply said, this is the situation. And I wish even those that, write favorably would stop the nonsense about the Harry and Meghan feel this and are thinking this and are, you know what I mean? You don't know how they're feeling. Stop trying to project your own feelings onto people, so, and it's like the idea that Harry and Meghan would be shocked at something that Charles, that is ridiculous. Especially in the light of the fact that the guy just wrote a 400 and something page book about how despicable these people are. They have a docuseries on Netflix that they talk about how despicable people are. We have Oprah, we have interviews, we have all of this stuff about how despicable. Like, why would that be shocking? In any sense of the word, why would it be shocking? So again, and I love Omid, but I have to get on him for this one. Because it's like, no, dude, no, enough of the friend close to nonsense. If Harry and Meghan haven't said it, it's a lie. Unless you put your face and your name behind it, it's a lie. When Harry and Meghan speaking, they said who is who. So there. That's my rant on that. And we talked about this yesterday, and I am not even done reading this article. It's very long. It was like, why is this article so long? It's a Rolling Stone article, and we talked about this yesterday that I don't know. Apparently all these people have been, snubbing the king. They don't want to sing at the coronation nobody asked for. And again, it's showing nobody asked for. And so Rolling Stones, for me, when I saw, all of this, because I know there's a parody thing going on with on Twitter, especially, where people are making up all these singers and giving reasons why they're not going. So it's kind of like a joke. So I was kind of not sure which one was real, which one. So I was like, you know what? I don't know if any of this stuff is real. I see it, but take with a grain of salt. Even this, take with a grain of salt, because that could change, and it could just be people are set up, and then all of a sudden at the end you're like, oh my gosh, this person is performing. But apparently, according to Rolling Stones, and again, I'm going to put the link in the show notes so you can read it. According to Rolling Stones, says in 1997, after attending a royal gala evening, Jerry Halliwell of the Spice Girls kissed Prince. It's like I just imagine Jerry kicking the prince. Oh my God. That would be royal news. Drama around the world. Jerry Halliwell kissed Prince Charles on the cheek. According to royal protocol and etiquette, you are only allowed to shake a royal's hand. So the scandalous moment landed on the front pages of newspapers and went down in pop culture history. Now, instead of daring Ginger Spice to kiss Charles for a second time, the Spice Girls are avoiding him altogether. Very interesting. The group is among a number of British pop artists who have turned down opportunity. And I'm going to move my banner to make sure that I can read everything. Oh, well, I guess. Oh, I could have left it there. There we go. I could still read it. All right. Let's see. Moving on. Let's see. The group was among a number of British pop artists who have turned down the opportunity to play at his coronation in May. Adele, Harry Styles, Robbie Williams, Elton John were also reportedly asked to play and refuse the offer. The Rolling Stone asked why. The teams for all those artists declined to comment, bar Elton John, who confirmed that he was asked but couldn't play due to scheduling issues. Musicians used to practically line up outside the palace to perform at any major royal event, but that has changed. The public is left wondering, will any major star agree to play the King Charles III's coronation? And so one of the reasons given in the article, it says the colonialism of the British Empire has been a major discussion point over the past 2 years. This is behind the struggle to secure A-list British acts, says Hack Baker, a musician from London. Any situation, this is what he says, any situation where I bow to an openly racist colonial imperial system that refuses to apologize for its past and eradication of my people's history, I'd rather avoid with a barge pole. We are more aware of the past now. They are not exempt from recognition. I think they're going to have a hard time. So this is one of the things musicians are like, I don't know that I want to associate with these people, especially this. I mean, I'm telling you, the effectiveness of Harry and Meghan's the docuseries and also Spare is resonating with people because they are finally paying attention. It's like, I don't know if I want my music associated with us. I don't know if I want my music associated with racist people who wouldn't apologize and who, have this colonial past. I don't know that I want my music, associated with people who wouldn't apologize. And we know the royals will never apologize for any of this stuff. Far less pay reparations, they don't even respect people, And so, again, there are other reasons given in the article, but I'll put a link in the show notes. But it's just very interesting to me that this actually is, people are like, no. I know Ed Sheeran, I think, was also part of that he said no, but I think Ed Sheeran is going through a lot right now. I think his wife is ill and stuff, so y'all can pray for her. She's going through a really medical challenge right now, so he has much more important things to focus on. But it's just very interesting, again, as the articles was saying that people used to line up to want to play royal events, and now you're like, Lionel, you might have to play the whole set by yourself. But apparently they just also they just signed the Who to do some concert. I don't know if it's this or another one, but they signed the Who to do something with them. So there's that. They got the Who and Lionel. So there you go. Again, I don't know about the others if they are going to, if they're going to change their mind or not. So, but very, very interesting. Extremely interesting. So I'm going to jump in the chat for a bit and see what you guys are saying. Kidsendor says, she's talking to Joan Hickey. Is it petty of me to want H to remove every single light bulb fixture and all the stuff they purchased? No, it is not. I hope they do as well. I am going to embrace my petty. Like, take it all. I mean, scrape the paint off if you have to scrape the paint off. I want them to take all of it. Every single one. But Harry and Meghan are not petty people. So they don't have to embrace petty, but I am petty as all heck. And I am like, yes, take it. I hope they do. Let's see. Kathy Gabby says Charles forget that life goes on after the clown nation. He and Camilla are not it. Yeah, they're not. They're totally not it, but in their minds they are, and they are in a tabloid bubble. So the tabloid are basically telling them that they're everything, and that's why they were having these fake polls recently, all these fake polls about Harry and Meghan and how America hates them and all of that stuff. They do that sort of thing so that they can gauge, they manipulate these polls so that they can, be like, okay, now is the time to drop something. Because Harry and Meghan are so unpopular, nobody's going to be outraged if you strip them of their, of their home. But mind you, apparently this happened days after Spare was released. So he basically asked them to evacuate, I think a day or a couple of days after Spare was released. Spare was released January 10th. So this news, they've had this news about, asking Harry and Meghan to evacuate Frogmore since January 12th. And so it's very obvious why they released this news now. Again, so that Charles could hide behind Harry and Meghan and their children once again, and also that he's just a cruel, vindictive, nasty, petty person and jealous on top of that. So, let's say, Cookies and Green says, I used to give Omid the benefit of a doubt. I start side-eyeing him, especially after his article on the Archwell Impact Report. Okay, so the Archwell Impact Report, actually, he was correct. Just so you know, this report was actually correct. What happened with that was there was a big misunderstanding with that whole thing, and he had put in the report that Harry and Meghan, they received $10 million, and then they 13 million, and they gave out 3 million, and nobody else really wrote up about that. And so when you looked at the impact report, it wasn't there. So I was also one of the people tweeting at him, like, dude, that's not in the report. Where did you get this information that where did you get this information that they received 13 million and they only gave, because the press was then going after the Sussex, like, oh, what are you doing with the other 10 million? Like, if when you fundraise for 10 million, you're gonna give it away all at once. That's stupid. That's not how you run that's not how you run a foundation. They're not getting 13 million every year. That's 13 million that they have to spread out. And so, so looking at the impact report, it wasn't there. And then later on, I was able to see, I got information. I can't say how, but I got information that was actually correct. It was what was given, apart from the Sussexes dropped the impact report on their website. But they also, along with that, they also send another report for reporters, so that when they're writing their article, they could include that in their article, even though that wasn't on the impact report, because the impact report is not a budget. It was just, the impact that they have throughout the different organizations that they're working with. So this information with about the 10,000 was sent out by the Sussexes. So it was a big miscommunication. And again, I was saying, like, as everyone was, we were going by the impact report, and the impact report didn't say it. So we're like, well, where did you get this? So it wasn't until much later that I got some information later, and it was like, oh, he was correct. And so I actually tweeted that, yeah, he was correct. It was information that was sent to reporters from to add to their, so that was where that whole thing happened. So in that case, he was correct. This case, however, no. It's not. And these unnamed sources saying stuff, and it's like, the Sussex didn't say any of those things. And if you're going to claim that the Sussexes are stunned and all of this stuff, then you got to cite your sources. You got to name who it is that said, or that person needs to be able to. And if they're claiming they're friends of the Sussexes, well, you need to say. You need to say who they are. They need to be able to stand and say, okay, this is me, and I'm saying this. again. So, Bassani Golf says, Pedal, I think Harry needs to have a home in the UK in conjunction with the ongoing security case. If Ravik knows this, then Charles is a add a word. Yes. I think he does. I mean, whether, and I hope he chooses to get, if he, I'm assuming he will keep a home in the UK. One, because he, the Council of State, he has to be domiciled in the UK. He has to have a residence in the UK to be a Councillor of State. So that's one thing. And two, it's his home. What they're trying to do right now is exile him. And it's like, no, as much as I don't want him to be there, but it's just like, Harry, if he wants to leave and wants to cut ties, then that should be his choice. They shouldn't have a right to, basically what Charles is doing is putting Harry's life in danger. So this would make, that security thing, as we know, they're with Ravik, the royal family are involved in Ravik as they're, Clyde Alderman and Edward Young, if he's still with Charles, they're all part of Ravik. They've all decided on this stuff. To evict Harry from there, that means you're taking any security away from Harry. Because at Frogmore was the one place that he is safe. It's safe because it comes with security. Along with his personal security. And so to take it away is to take away all that. So that court case is going to be interesting because that makes it a little more complicated, because I'm sure Harry and Meghan are going to get a new home in the UK, And so then, when you put in all the security risk and all of that stuff, they can't now say, well, Harry, that Harry doesn't need security, because if he's not within the royal bubble at Windsor Great Park, then he's going to need Met security. He's going, so for me, it's probably the better thing to have happened, so that makes sure Harry and Meghan get security, because it's like, what are the Metropolitan Police going to do? They don't have the excuse of, oh, he's living at Windsor, because they've just taken that away. So, yeah. But, if I were Harry and Meghan, I would, this is the opportunity for freedom. For me, this is a good thing. This is an opportunity for freedom. You never have to deal with them and their security issues again. You deal with the Met Police. You don't have to deal with Ravik, well, at least I think, he's still a royal, so maybe they'll still control things, but I don't know. It would be very... But he, if he still wants to stay a Council of State, he has to have a home in the UK. So who knows what's going to happen? Again, as the Sussexes put it, they requested that they evacuate from or vacate Frogmore. That statement doesn't say Harry and Meghan accepted it. They didn't say they're not fighting it. They didn't say any of those things. And if there's any issue with them not paying Harry and Meghan, they can always sue the Crown Estate. So, and I wish they could sue King Charles, but they can't because he is exempt. So yeah. Wendy says the Sussex no longer has ties to Shutter Island. After this eviction, they are free to do as they please in the US. That is true. They don't have ties. They don't have to have ties. But again, if Harry wants to continue as, Councillor of State, if that's important to him, then he does need to have a home there. So again, they can purchase a home elsewhere. And, then, of course, Metropolitan Police going to have to protect them. So, because that's their duty, that's their job. So let's see. But again, for me, it's a blessing in disguise. It's sometimes you need that kick to be able to let go of toxic people and get out of toxic situations. Don't be surprised if the titles are next, when they take away the titles and all of that stuff. Don't be surprised. But again, everything they take away is basically just proving Harry and Meghan's, what they say in the documentary and the book, true. It's just proving who they are. And so again, and I'm glad Harry and Meghan are letting them take it. It's like, no, if you want, you take it and expose yourself. So And now people are listening. And that's the thing. I don't think they expected people to listen to Harry and Meghan, what they said, but people are listening. Hence, they are having problems with people wanting to perform and wanting their name attached to any of that mess. So, Lenny Sus XM. Oh, I've never seen you here before. Okay. Welcome. Say Lynn says, watched GB News. Oh, I'm sorry you did that. Watched GB News this morning, and there was an interview, and there was this guest on talking about Frogmore House. The guest gave the host the full 100, all in Harry and Meghan's favor, of course. Or I'm assuming you mean of course. Okay, that's interesting because GB News hates Harry and Meghan, so I'm surprised. Maybe they didn't know they were going to do that because it seems they all in that place hates Harry and Meghan. So who knows? Well, that's definitely news. I tend to stay away from GB News because it's just not news. Oh, hi Nash. I'm happy you made it. You were catching the live too. Welcome. Let's see. Joe Nicky says an eviction is in an empty house. Don't forget Andrew has been evicted too. All for positive headlines for nasty Chucky. Well, he ain't getting the positive headlines he thought he was gonna get. I mean, everyone sees this for what it is because it's hard for them, even the tabloids who support him, to give him the positive headlines because they're going to be losing money. And that's all they care about. They care about money, And so if Harry and Meghan, if this causes Harry and Meghan to not show up, that's going to be a lot of money they're going to be losing. So, interesting. And again, the idea of Harry and Meghan are devastated or they're shocked and stunned and all of this stuff. And like, we had a docu-series of Harry and Meghan packing up the house with all these boxes. They have moved their stuff out. I mean, they even took the swing, So one of their staff had the swing in her hand. I mean, yeah, they took it. They're not, I seriously doubt they're shocked about any of those things. I mean, if they're shocked at this, I'd be like, there is something wrong with you if you're shocked about that. Let's see. Sharon Augustine says, sorry to the people who love Omid. Michelle did say the guy is not to be trusted. Oh, I mean, people have different responses to Omid. There are some people that love him, some people that, some people that hate him, some people are in between. I'm like, he's a reporter. And that's all I expect from Omid. He is a fair and balanced reporter. Does he get stuff wrong sometimes? Yes, he does. He gets stuff wrong. And that's human. That's, as a reporter, you're going to get stuff wrong sometimes. He's not perfect. So that for me is, if he was somebody that is deliberately out there attacking the Sussexes and deliberately out there, then I'd have issues with it. But he is a reporter. He's fair and he's balanced from both sides. He doesn't love one and hate the other. It's just right what he writes. And sometimes he gets it wrong. He gets it dead wrong, and even his book, when you read Spare, some of the things he said in his book, Finding Freedom, were completely off. They might be, in the general area of things, but it's, some of it was wrong. Completely. It's so funny. I was, my addiction, I was listening to it again a couple of days ago. I was coming home from the store. I was listening to it. And Harry was talking about, when in Homid book, he talked about, Meghan before her wedding, she had all this training that they would grab her, put her in a car. And so they would train her, just in case there was a case of kidnapping and all of that. And Harry was like, was just nonsense. Harry was like, I wish that happened. I wish the special forces would have come and done that. I wish they would have come and retrained me. In fact, I wish they would come and protect us, or I wish they would go and grab that crown the tiara from Angela Kelly. was hilarious when he said that. So that was completely wrong, and I mean, obviously there are a lot of reports in there, things in there that other reporters have written that were completely wrong and lies and made up as well. So for me, I don't love or hate. I just look at him as a balanced reporter who sometimes just get it wrong. Sometimes he gets it right, and sometimes he just get it wrong. And this one, what I was talking about, with how Harry and Meghan, it's like, that's just pure projection. You're writing stuff about, even if those people said those things, that's just projection, on them. And, shouldn't be in a report, because that's like, well, what evidence do you have that they're stunned? What evidence do you have that they're feeling any kind of way? Have you spoken to them? And then you see what Harry and Meghan's response is, and you're like, wait a minute, which is not to say they can't feel any of those things, but there's just no evidence to back it up. There's no evidence. And for them to be, writing about, that their closets are full and it's like, yeah, but you're writing about this, but we just saw a documentary where they're packing up the house. So those are the things that for me, it's like, okay, more research needed to have gone into this article. So again, there are times that I appreciate what he writes, and there are times like this when I was like, no, this is not correct. And so, but I don't hate or love. He's just, for me, he's just a journalist. And so that's what I think of it. Sandy has something to say. She's like, Omid is always suspect. He's just lesser of the many evils. Okay, again, so many people have different responses to Omid. So yeah, some people just can't, they just can't. And they're like, and some people love him to death. And so it's like, yeah. For me, I don't see him as someone who's out to harm. I just see, again, as a reporter. And so, let's see. Kathy is like, side eye, totally side eye him. Mama Jane says they can buy their own house. Yeah, they can totally buy their own house. And that's, who's to say they don't already have it? It may just be a private place. Who's to say they don't already have their own place? Who knows? Harry and Meghan, they work on the down low. So, and hopefully they never say, because so nobody knows where they are. So who's to say they don't? Bissani says, hello. It's so hilarious. I saw a TikTok the other day. Well, let me read this. Pedal, can we curse today, please? Can we make an exception? I can't stand Charles to turn on his own breaker. No, you cannot curse. And I say this because I saw on Twitter, there was somebody posted something from TikTok with this mom. I guess it seemed like a mom, either a mom or as an adult. She's on the phone and it looks like she's trying to get help with something. And the little girl, I'm assuming her daughter, comes in and she's like, Mom, can I use a curse word? Mom, can I use a curse word? Mom. And she's like, the mom, she was so frustrated. It's like she waved her hand, sort of give her permission, like whatever. And then this little girl that looks like she could be more than 7, 6, 7, let out the biggest curse words. I almost dropped my food. It was just like, what on earth? And it like shocked the mom out of whatever conversation she had. It just lifted her off of her seat. And so when I saw this, it just reminded me of that. So no, Besede, you cannot curse. Let's find the thesaurus, which is what I do all the time, and look for different words that could replace the curse word. But thank you for asking, though. And believe me, I understand the pain. Believe me, I am tempted to cuss at times. I am tempted. Believe me, it's not that I am not tempted. I am tempted all the time. I just choose to go find a thesaurus or a dictionary and replace those words with ones that, that could equally describe my frustration with Charles. And so, yes, I believe me, and with Camilla. So, but thank you for asking, Sadie. But this is very funny. But I remember that little girl, and I was just, I was just so shocked. That poor mom. And that thing just lifted her off of her seat. Whatever it is, whomever it is, did something to that girl. That little child was like, oh my Lord, where did she hear that to even say it? you know. So, but anyways, I'm sure that's the last time that mom gave that permission. At least I hope. TT Carter says, "Hello, everybody. If you have to, when commenting, say requested to vacate and not the tabloid word evict." Yeah, well, there you go. Thank you, TT, because that's what Harry and Meghan said. You know, there was a request to vacate, and so yeah. Again, we don't know. You know, when you request something, we have to wait for the person who you're requesting it from. And so Harry and Meghan didn't say what their response was to it. So again, they could say no. They could say we're gonna fight it. We're gonna say if you're gonna respond, then you need to. I mean, if I'm going to vacate, then you need to pay me back all my. I mean, there's so many responses you could have. So I am just going to wait to see what the Sussexes says. And then, frankly, I am hoping. I mean, this might be really petty. If they choose to vacate whatever is left of their properties, you know, maybe go. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe that's just silly. I was like, they should just go on his coronation day, and you know, they're having a concert at Windsor. Drive through the concert with moving vans and haul their thing out and take all the attention away from I mean, it's stupid. I don't know. I was just thinking of just pettiness. So yeah. And my other petty thought was just literally not even responding. Even if they send like, you know, invitations, which again, Charles doesn't want Harry and Meghan there. Because again, they're going to take attention away from him. He doesn't want them there, no matter what the press says. So if it comes, I will simply ignore it. Literally just ignore it. Let's see. Mia Sylvester says, "I'm not sure buying Umid's book. I don't trust them." Yeah, he's has a book coming out. Yeah, I guess that's up to everyone if they choose to buy it or not. And I don't think it's necessarily about Harry and Meghan. I think it's about the monarchy. It's called Endgame, I think. So I think it's probably coming out and maybe coming out in this. I would say maybe the summer or something. So and that's going to be everybody's, you know, your decision if you want to buy it or not. So for me, whenever Harry and Meghan speak, I will read. Beyond that, no. Let's see. Terry says there is no occupant to evict when the house is not occupied. Exactly. It's like, you know, Harry and Meghan live in the US. They were kind enough to allow Eugenie and Jack to, you know, when they were pregnant and had their little son, they were kind enough to have them use it. And then, you know, when Eugenie and Jack are going back and forth between there and Portugal, they're able to use it. So the Sussexes have their home in the US. I mean, you know, it would have been nice to keep the security stuff, but you know, again, I'm sure they're probably, you know, one of the things I love about what Harry talked about when he's spoken about it a couple of times, space. He loved the space. So the last time he talked about space, it was with him and William. So the fact that William, you know, moved to Great Windsor Park, which is only minutes away from where Harry and Meghan live, I don't think Harry is missing that all that much, because again, he is about space. He don't really want to be around, you know, this abusive, incandescent person being minutes away. It's like, for what? No. And again, it's like that whole move to Windsor Great Park for the Cambridges. It's like you have a whole 20-room Kensington Palace that you use 4.5 million pounds pounds money to renovate, and then you move out of there into Adelaide Cottage. There's definitely a reason, and definitely they've been eyeing Prince Andrew's place. But if I would ever support Prince Andrew, be like, just to deny and just be petty and deny the Cambridges, I'm like, Andrew, you stay right where you are. I'm like, if I would ever support him just because I'm petty and I don't want the Cambridges to have it, it's like, nope, you stay right there. At this point, King Charles is no better than you. If they can accept King Charles, they can accept you too. So there you go. Let's see, what else? Marjorie says, with Harry and Meghan's actions in the night of the announcement, tells the world they don't care. They are happy and in love. The request made, and it is for the Sussex to decide how to proceed. Exactly. Exactly. And so people have kind of jumped ahead. Oh, they have vacated. They have to move. That Andrew's getting the key. Andrew has the key, or Charles himself off the key. I think people just are jumping ahead. They just assume, because it's like, oh, it's the king, so he has all this power. Yes, he has control over what happens to the homes in, that the sovereign grand owns. But it just, he. I'm like, we don't know the Sussex's response to that request. And so I love how they worded it. It was a request. It was not a command. It was a request to vacate. Let's see. John says, come on, this PR stunt by Chucky to deflect from negative headlines. Once again, Harry is under a bus. Of course. Of course. Of course, Harry's under a bus. And again, yeah, it's obviously because people were, Northern Ireland, I think Scotland, politicians were on his case for meddling in Brexit stuff, which again, they have always meddled. They've always just been able to hide it from people and pretend they're not meddling. This is because it's now open and people are knowing, is really the fear, that people are going to finally find out that their head of state is actually a person in politics. I mean, again, I don't know how you could be here in the year of our Lord 2023 and be shocked at that. Like, I don't even understand. I don't even understand how you could think the royal family are not involved in politics when, if nothing else, that every Monday they meet with the prime minister of your country. Like, what, I always ask, what do you think they talk about? Baking cupcakes? The weather? I mean, what do you think? You have a Tory prime minister. You've had Tory prime ministers. What do you think they talk about? So yeah. But the delusions of the royalists, I guess, they have to protect that delusion. So anyways, let's see. Scrolling down all the way at the bottom, I'll go down and come back up. Let's see. Anfu, hello. Anfu says, big birthday party for the son of Prince Harry and Meghan, grandson of the Queen of Hearts and Miss Doria. So yes, I mean, we're going to be celebrating Archie's birthday. So, not paying attention to the others on that day. I will not be doing anything about coronation nobody asked for. So there. C-Mac says, April, May, he'll be literally singing all night long. If you don't know the reference, only Lionel Richie, it seems, is going to be performing at the coronation nobody asked for. And Lionel Richie has a song called All Night Long. So C-Mac is saying he'll be literally singing all night long because, well, there's nobody else there. I love it. I love the humor. I absolutely love the humor. Teresa 1001 says, when Kate moved to Adelaide to run interference and stop secret meetings with Granny. Yeah, and the minute they moved in, Granny was like, peace out. I am out of here. I'm not paying. She never got back there. They moved in. She went off to Balmoral and never made it back. She totally peaced out. She's not feeling that. So there you go. So now they're at Adelaide Cottage and, I guess they're either going to move into, kick Andrew out and move into the lodge, or, don't be surprised if they end up in the 1,000-room Windsor Castle. Unbelievable. Come to Cali Gal. Hello, come to Cali Gal. How are you? I was watching stuff from California over the weekend, and it was just like, oh my gosh. The last time I was in LA, that LA River was like dry as a bone. And then I saw over the weekend, it was just like, oh, someone wrote on Twitter, like, LA River is really rivering. And I was like, yep, it's really rivering. It was just like, oh my gosh. It was a little scary watching the water flowing down that river. It's like, I remember that being bone dry. So a lot of water in California, which is good. I mean, but especially it must be a little weird, especially having snowfall on you. It was just the weirdest weekend of weather in California. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Come to Caligal says that Camilla is queen and she feels her children should be living good like William. And that's why Andrew has to move to Frogmore. Someone mentioned that. Don't be surprised if Camilla moves her kids and their kids and whomever into those houses. Don't be surprised if Andrew says no and Camilla's people moved into Frogmore. That would be let's throw it in Harry and Meghan. I would not put that past her at all. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if all of a sudden they have titles. Yeah, don't be surprised. Just I'm expecting these people to do anything because we know Camilla is the one who's running the show there, and I shouldn't say that. Both her and King Charles. I mean, I don't want to put all that on a woman when King Charles is right there, lockstep and agreeing and doing all that stuff. So there, it's both of them, miserable people together. Jody says Chucky don't care about anyone else's feelings. He want to own that spotlight for him and him and Camilla, minus Harry and Meghan, and he will be the highest. He'll be in his highest throne, ear to ear, gleeful. Yeah, people are expecting, and they are putting onto Charles love that he does not have. They're putting on to him, oh, he's a loving father. He loves his darling boy, which is like, someone really explained when people do that, like that darling boy. And then it's like a promise of love that he doesn't deliver on. And so you keep stringing your child along, expecting, when they hear darling boy, because it gives you that feeling of that you're loved. And then everything else in his action shows you otherwise. It's manipulative. And so, people are putting on that he's a loving father or he loves his son. Harry and Meghan are much love, that nonsense thing that one of those courtiers came up with, that they've said, that the Queen said, which I don't believe any of it. But they've now put that on to Charles, and they're aside, hiding him feelings and emotions and connection to the Sussexes that he doesn't have, that he doesn't feel. You don't have love for someone and your child and take away their security and take away the security of your grandchildren if you actually want to see your grandchildren. They have this notion that Charles, he's not going to see his he doesn't want to. How much more does this man have to show you? He doesn't want to see them. The only time he cared, letting anybody know that he even met Archie and Lily, was when he used them and threw them, used them and threw them under a bus so he can hide behind this whole narrative. Oh, he met them. He can hide his, taking cash in a bag and taking money from the Bin Laden family. That's the only time. His only feelings and his only attachment is not to them, is how he can use them to get better press or use them to hide what he does. So it's just like, no, he doesn't want Harry there. Just like he didn't want Meghan there, because it'll take the spotlight off him. And his thing is, I want the attention. I want the spotlight on me and Camilla. That's it for him. Joy says, Harry said it in the docuseries that Lily and Archie know Montecito as their home, and so do he and Meghan. Exactly. So I seriously doubt they shocked, surprised, crushed, and heartbroken over Frogmore. I mean, of course they're going to have a little feeling about it because, it was their home, as you have in any former home. You're like, you get a little nostalgic about stuff, but no, I seriously don't think, heartbroken and shocked or any of that stuff. April May says, Joyce was Lionel Richie better start rehearsing all his songs because he might be the only entertainer there. Yeah. He better be practicing his ceiling walking, walking in the ceiling or dancing in the ceiling, whatever that song is. He better be practicing. So, yeah. Let's see what else. Fire 22 Lobby says, I believe that it's true that Charles doesn't want them at the coronation, afraid to share the limelight. That's why he chose the 6th of May, Archie's birthday, to have his coronation. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. He chose that day because he knows there's going to be conflict there. Harry and Meghan are going to want to spend time with their kid, you know? And so, of all the days to choose that day, he doesn't want them there. Taking away their house, he doesn't want them there, you know? So, hopefully, that message is loud and clear in Montecito and they stay away. Let's see. Mercedes says apparently invitations are going out next week. I would definitely ignore it. Yeah, I would definitely not even respond. I would not give it. I mean, I would feed it to the garbage. That would be where it go. I would not even respond to it. Let's see. Nisike says, what's going to happen to the $3 million they paid, the $3 million? Again, I don't know. I hope that they are negotiating to get that money back if they've decided to vacate, as was requested of them, that they are working to get that money back. So we will see. I don't know what the answer is to that. I would love to know myself. Inquiring minds want to know. 1998 champion says, let Charles continue to be petty. The world is waking up to those two. Long as he doesn't try to pull his power, try to claim Lily and Archie, because he does have custody of all the grandkids. Well, Lily and Archie are also American citizens, so yeah, no, he's not getting custody of them. They're not, Archie was born in the UK, but he's also an American citizen. So yeah, no. He's not getting them. And definitely not getting Lily, because the Lily is American. So let's see. CMAX says, if invitations are going out next week, I suspect they released this so they send a message that they don't want Harry and Meghan to accept. Yeah, I mean, it's a plain message. And I believe, even when the Queen was alive for that Jubilee, when they put out like, oh, Harry and Meghan are not going to be on the balcony, and Harry and Meghan was like, the same day they're like, we're still coming. That was because of the Queen, because the Queen personally invited them. So they didn't care what Buckingham Palace, they didn't care about balcony or any of that stuff. They were there because of the Queen, and the Queen personally invited them. And the Queen, as we saw, gave them her security. They gave them her car, had her equerry sit right behind them. And so that, her protection sit right behind them when they were in the church, the only event they went to. And so they went to the one that, we didn't really, it wasn't really public, but the church event, she had her security sit right behind them to protect them and all of that stuff. So they were protected by the Queen, and so they went there, at her request. No such thing. They don't have that kind of connection to Charles. They don't have that kind of relationship. So if they, everything Charles has done is like, I don't want you here. I don't want you. So there. Joy says, Archie and Lily have dual citizenship. Charles is not going to pull anything like he has custody. It would be World War. Yeah, it was worldwide war. Yeah, no, he can't. Not with an American citizen. It'd be like, dude, they're not your colony, so you can't. Yeah. Let's see. And this again says, I'm ready with my Diana photo for the coronation. That could be a stunt y'all could pull over there. Definitely. And again, the Republic group, they said they're going to be doing some stunts. So there you go. Let's see. Let's see what else I have. What else do I have to talk about? Oh, this was actually very interesting. It was good to see. Mina Mihaela posted this on their Twitter page. It says, Mina Mihaela was founded by Jolo Tasu. I don't know if I said that correctly, and has a wonderful team to advise and support all the decisions taken. And on that, you can on your right, on your left, sorry, you see all her team that supports and advise. And if you see, we see Megan under supporters and advisors. And so it was great to see Megan. And as we know, Megan in I think it was 2017, I want to say, working with World Vision, she traveled to India and was working with Mina Mahila there. And of course, that's Megan with women from Mina Mahila in India. And I think I want to say 2017 she was there. So yeah, so it's really great to see. And we know that also, I think it was last year that Megan had done an article on the founder of Mina Mahila on the Archwell website as well. So it's really cool. It was just so funny. It was posted there, and I didn't realize until I think yesterday. I was like, oh wait, Megan is under the supporters and advisors. So it's really great that she, obviously keeping up with them along with SmartWorks and the other organizations that she also supports and advises, and so it's really great. So kudos to Megan. And Invictus Vancouver, who are like, I know we are 2 years away, but we're doing stuff. Team managers from across the Invictus global community are together in Whistler to learn the basics of snow sports so they can begin to training their own teams. The countdown is officially on. 708 days to IG 25, but who's counting? They are so excited about this, and they're meeting with all the Invictus team managers from across the global community. So it'll be really cool. I mean, this is going to be amazing to see the winter sports added on to the regular Invictus events. It's going to be fantastic. And Canada, they are so ready and pumped up. That 708 days could not come fast enough. And I am very excited about that. And finally, our faves. This picture is not even clear. And I was like, I can never find a clear picture of this. But our faves, being a family, celebrating baby Lily's birthday at Frogmore. And so it just, it is what it is. They can be doing it in Montecito. Hopefully that's where Archie's birthday is celebrated. So anyways, no reason at all for this picture. I just loved it. And I was like, oh, I just want to end it. I wanted to end with that one. So I'm going to jump in the chat for a few more. And before we end, let's see. 99 Man Champion said, Charles is petty as hell. Same as Mr. Ed. Excuse me, Mrs. Ed. Charles is petty and vindictive. My goodness, Lord. I'm like, the Windsors are a mess. Let's see. Mrs. Monty says, Harry has said he loves his father and brother. Thus public creates more pain for him. Another house in the UK is not the issue. Continuing to face pain of rejection is the issue. I think I understand what you're saying. I mean, at least the first part. Yeah, Harry does love his family. He does love his father. And finally, I was able, and I fell asleep while I was listening to it. I was so tired. But I finally found a video of, and it seems like the entire interview with Tom Bradby. And so I was trying to listen to it last night, like 1 o'clock in the morning, and then I fell asleep. So I have to go back and finish it. But he was talking about, how he loves his father. He loves them. That's the thing. The heart does what it does, and he loves his family. So, but, they are in every way rejecting him, and they want to say, oh, it's because of spares. I'm like, the reason why Spare is there, the reason why the Harry and Meghan docuseries is there, where Oprah is there, is because of the rejection, because of the pain, because of the damage that they've done. That is why we have a Spare. They're not doing it because he wrote Spare. They're doing it because he's outed their behavior in Spare. So. And also the Harry Meghan docuseries as well. Sass says, don't be surprised to hear DNA tests were done on Camilla's children, only to find out Will is not the number one heir to the throne. Oh, that would be funny. But I was really rooting for the guy in was he Australia or New Zealand that has been claiming he is a son of Prince Charles and Camilla forever. So yeah, I was ready for him too. But then I was told like because he is out of wedlock, so he doesn't qualify to knock off Prince William as the heir. But that's who I was rooting for. But hey, William will then need to go find a job. Good luck on that. Let's see. Jeannie says Charles hasn't acknowledged Meghan, Archie, and Lily. Diana is as his family. Lily, Diana as his family. So he won't take custody of the children. Yeah, he doesn't want them. It's very clear. He doesn't want them. He doesn't want a relationship with them. That is very clear. If you want a relationship with people, you wouldn't do what Charles does. So yeah. There are people are assigning those feelings towards him that he doesn't have. It's very clear. Joy says, Sylvia, I also feel Charles has not met Lily or seen Archie when Harry brought them to see the Queen. He said he did because, that was one of the things to distract the press from his taking money from Bin Laden's family and also taking money, the cash in a bag and all that nonsense. That was one of the things that, they threw out there to distract the public. How, what joy it was for him to finally meet his grandchildren. So if he was lying, the Sussexes hadn't said anything about it. They have since done interviews and stuff, and they have not said he was lying about it. So I have no reason to say he was lying. I can't. So yeah. Compton Gallagher says World Vision does great work. They do. They really, really do. That's who Meghan worked with in Uganda when she. Is it Uganda? Yeah, I think it was Uganda that she went to. And also. When obviously to India when she works with Mina Mahela. So they do great work around the world. So yeah. Let's see. Gwendolyn says, and remember, Charles didn't want Meghan at Balmoral when the Queen dies. Exactly. I noticed in Spare, when Harry talks about it in Spare, he said that Charles was being, I guess, a derogatory or whatever it was. He was being really nasty about Meghan, and Harry had to, dress him down like, don't you dare speak about my wife in that way. Harry doesn't say exactly what Charles said. And that would be very interesting to know what he said that Harry had to like pull him up by that about that. So yeah. He didn't want her there, and they're like, he doesn't want that woman there. And it's like, wow, what happened there? Anne says, and Lily Diana's godfather is Tyler Perry, and he sure wouldn't want to do a tango with this African king. I'm telling you, I would not want to be facing Tyler Perry. Especially that Tyler Perry is a lot richer than him. So there you go. Joan Hickey says, didn't the mail say Chucky and Cam had the charisma of garden gnomes? Well, I'm not here for the Daily Mail, but I have to say I agree with them on this one. They have the charisma of garden gnomes. Well, I think I expect the cow to be jumping over the moon anytime soon because I agree with the Daily Mail. There you go. Here we are. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Kissendor says, I smell jealous from Chuckles. Betty treated them allegedly better than him. Yeah. That's why they loved her, and that's why they went, even though they were treated so appallingly, and obviously even worse they were treated when they were there for her funeral. So yeah, let's see. Going down a couple more. I keep saying a couple more. Let's see. John Newbold. Hi, John. How are you? John says, hi, all. Late again. Oh, no worries. The replay is there. You can always watch the rest on the replay or watch the beginning on the replay. He says, hi, all. Late again. So the circus show is going to cost £100 million. So much for a slim down monarchy. That's the UK tax money. You know what? If the UK people sit there and let Charles use $100 million and they not say anything, then that's on them. That is on them. People have been screaming this at the top of their lungs about this money that they're using for a coronation nobody asked for and that is completely unnecessary. And they're not saying anything, knowing that they're using their money for, they can't even hire, decent musicians, decent artists to come in for their show that nobody asked for. So this is on the British people. If they want this to stop, you gotta start protesting and letting your voice be known. So there should never, especially again, people cannot feed their families, they cannot heat their houses, they don't have gas to travel, so they gotta speak up. This is nonsense. This is absolute nonsense. If this is, and I'm gonna ask, where did you find this information, John? I'd love to read it. So if you want to put in the chat where you found it, I would much appreciate it. That it's 100 million. Would I be surprised? No. Am I surprised if it truly is $100 million? Absolutely. Not $100 million, but £100 million. I would not be surprised at all. In fact, it would be the least surprising thing. Cookies and Cream says, I know Harry loves the unroyal family dearly. I hope that he will come to realize that those people don't have his best interests at heart. They're more than shown that they don't love him and his family, nor his family. Yeah, exactly. I hope so too. We've been talking about this since they pulled his security, when we learned that they pulled his security the first time. We've been talking about this again. The royal family have not hidden who they are. In terms of how they've treated Harry and Meghan, they have been bold. They have been out there bold. And again, it comes back to when people show you who they are, you have to believe them the first time. And the royal family, especially King Charles and William, they've been showing over and over and over and over. So, now it's time for Harry, especially Harry, but both of them, Harry and Meghan, to realize, like, these are not the people for me. They're not here for you. And so hopefully they stay home. One can only hope. So anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for Cookies and Cream and everyone else who commented. I appreciate all of your comments. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you to our awesome moderators, Lydia, Church Nelly, Karen M. Cookies and Cream, thank you all so much. Again, we have 628 of our favorite people in the listening. If you are new here, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you know when we drop a video, and please like and share the video, and if you're able, join the channel. Thank you all so much. Thank you to our awesome 2 Cents crew members who support the channel monthly. I appreciate you, and thank you so much for all you do for the channel, and also to our Go Sell supporters who you see in the chat that they support, whether it's with super chats, super thanks, super stickers, all of it, and also some of you who support via PayPal and Cash App or merchandise. Thank you all so much for your support. I appreciate every single one of you and all that you bring to the channel. Thank you for making this a safe, fun space for all of us. I appreciate your kindness. So anyways, guys, that's it. I hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and I am somehow going to try to go play some tennis, I hope. And anyway, I will see you all tomorrow. Huge love. See you. Bye.